Welcome to Finish the Race, a conservative Christian podcast where we'll dive deep into the current events and social issues affecting Americans.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
In times like these, truth, principles, and solutions matter. Through God's Word, we can restore our true American values, faith, family, and country.
However, I consider my life worth nothing to me. My only aim is to finish the race and complete the task the Lord Jesus has given me, the task of testifying to the good news of God's grace.
Now, here's your host, Eric Thompson.
Hi, welcome to another Finish the Race podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. Welcome to the podcast. If it's the first time you are listening in, Finish the Race is a news platform. I'm a political writer for Trending Politics, ericthompsonshow.com, and other platforms as they pull my articles. On Finish the Race, what we're going to be doing different is we're going to be covering the main news, but we're also going to be covering in detail the news that the left does not want to talk about. And when I say left, that's typically means people that are anti-God. They are neutral on God as long as God is not discussed in a way that puts restrictions on their lives. And the left tends to be more sexually perverse, at least when it comes to policies and outward appearance and arguments. They are celebrating the fact that babies can be aborted up to the second before birth, and in California and a couple other states, they're working on doing post-birth deaths of the babies. So Finish the Race is going to be, as we develop it, an encouraging website, a challenging website, an informative website, equipping each one of us to run our race. The overarching theme, since I'm a Christian and this is from a Christian worldview, is that Christ will be elevated. From a news cycle, I want to make sure that you're getting the news and not as much of this hyperbole back and forth, beat up the other side type of journalism you see out there. To boil it down, the Democratic Party has been hijacked over the last 2 to 3 generations by Marxists that have gone through the education system in the United States. The internet has allowed the globalists to infiltrate our country, get access to children from 3 years old now all the way up to senior citizens. Messaging, ads. Like there's a documentary on Facebook on, I think it was Netflix before we canceled it, of how these social media companies can guide you. They don't only service what your needs are on their platforms, but they're actually guiding you. They can get you to vote for certain people. They can get you to think about subjects. So we're going to collectively work on our own individual walks to make sure that we're living the way we should be in making much of Christ and being a good example. But we're also fighting for liberty. There is no political party that I can say that's the party. Yeah, they represent me. I don't have one of those. And because our focus is on heaven and we're not to be in love and entwined with the world, then how I see it is that we need to at least be advancing policies and supporting people that are going to maintain liberties for our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And I think we should vote accordingly, and we should vote. Not get wrapped up in a person, but get wrapped up in policies. Again, the website is finishtherace.com. I do have sponsors for this podcast, and there are no-brainers as far as I'm concerned. A year and a half ago, I was tired of my huge cell phone bills, and I'd gone from Sprint to AT&T over the years and then to T-Mobile thinking, okay, finally I'm going to save money. But what happened was they would embed all these hidden charges until I started getting my bills going. Why are you charging me this and this? And I didn't know about this. And then they start getting me with overage charges. And my cell phone bills were $180, $200, $250. And one day I heard about Pure Talk USA out of Atlanta, Georgia. And what I did is I went over there and I found out, I could actually keep my phone numbers, sign up, and then they'll send me the little SIM cards. I switch them out. And then when I did that, I turned my phones on. It said Pure Talk. And guess what? Back then, I was on the same 4G network and the same towers, except my bill went down over 50%. Everything stayed the same on performance, 50% lower bill, because they don't have all these locations and people they have to pay and with massive advertising budget. They pass the savings on to us, but we don't lose anything because their customer service is awesome out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. So I'm recommending that you guys do what my wife and I did. Go to getpuretalk.com. getpuretalk.com. The promo code, if you want to get 50% off your first month, is 3 letters, FLS, for liberty's sake, FLS at checkout. Getpuretalk.com, promo code FLS. You're going to keep this. You're going to keep your phones, keep your phone numbers, stay on the same 5G network, same towers. Customer service is awesome out of Atlanta. CEO is a U.S. veteran. They're a top-rated wireless company by Consumer Affairs. GetPureTalk.com, promo code FLS, 50% off your first month. And then after that, your bills will be measurably lower than what you've been paying. The average family saves over $800 a year. Do what I did and hundreds of thousands of other people. GetPureTalk.com, promo code FLS. The Bible has a lot to say about government, and I'm not going to do a long thing on this, but I wanted to give you some foundations to this since this is one of the first podcasts for this website. The overarching theme is that God is sovereign, which means he's never surprised. He's never caught off guard. And it says in Psalm 22:28, for kingships belong to the Lord and he rules over the nations. Now God in Romans 13, he establishes governments. And it says that we are to live in subject to the governing authorities because there's no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. For rulers are not a terror to those who have good conduct, but to people that have bad conduct. When we live in a country where the population through the education system and entertainment has decided to suppress the truth that God exists and to decide to live the way they want to live and abort 65, 70 million babies, now late term. We've got the LGBT thing going all over the place. There's an article I wrote today about 2 women got pregnant in an all-women's prison. How's that possible? Because men who think they're women still have the body parts of a man, and one of them was taking part of activities with the women and got 2 pregnant. But he'll tell you that he's a woman. So, I'm not going to cover that right now, but that's just the kind of news I'm covering on Finish the Race. So it'll be Christian doctrine. It'll be on stuff like that, which kind of calls out the the kind of the lunacy of things, the crime, and then good stories about people helping each other and successes and people that are living lives of victory. It's just it's a full-rounded world view of me as a Christian in this world. But we know that God made man in his image, and God decided man and woman, XXXY chromosomes, and he established marriage, and all these things that used to be somewhat normal in the United States are not anymore. And God is, I believe, allowing people to then run amok without his Holy Spirit convicting them. Thus, they are living very corrupt lives, from our president all the way down to the local parish. But here are some stories that I covered today. The New York subway mass shooter, they got him. And New York City's new mayor did everything he could to not call this a terrorist attack. Tried everything. But the reality is, the New York subway mass shooter is actually a radical black nationalist. Now, God's not a respecter of persons, but our government is, because our government is an extension of the anti-racist, woke, cancel culture, social justice warriors that believe that the biggest threat to the United States of America are white Americans that love their country. And it's on the Homeland Security watch list now. If you believed the 2020 elections there was fraud, or if you believe that COVID was mismanaged, you're the problem. But when you have a black gentleman, which I'm being nice about, I'll call him a black man, I guess is a better way of saying it, go and shoot up a bunch of people on a subway, and his Facebook page is full of racist material, then you go, well, Frank Robert James, who shot people at 36th and 4th in Brooklyn, who on his Facebook page has Black Lives Matter, Black Empowerment, and he's a messenger of Allah, then he appears obviously to be a fan of black nationalism, and he believes that it's time to eradicate the people that have been suppressing them. Like I said, New York, the city, the mayor, everyone's been on the left's been trying to hide this because they don't want you to know that this guy was on the FBI's terror watch list until 2019. Quote, the suspect in the Brooklyn subway shooting was on the FBI's terror radar list, or terrorist radar in New Mexico until 2019, according to a report, and was cleared after multiple interviews, according to the Daily Mail. When the government tries to determine who's good and who's bad simply because of your skin color or your race or your gender, nationality, simply off of immutable things that you can't change, because you can't change your sex, male or female. Doesn't matter if you want to create your own reality. It doesn't change the facts. And this is why our government, because we've allowed it to become so large, it is dangerous. Because it's now being weaponized for political expediency. It's being used to advance Marxism. And this is what we have to fight in the elections. Some Christians tell me, oh, we're not supposed to be involved because God's the one that's going to do it anyway, and I should stay neutral. Wrong answer. You live in a country where God has given us the ability to pray, to read his word, and to vote according to according to principles that advance liberty. But that was one of the main stories today, is that the New York City subway mass shooter is come to find out from his own Facebook page, is a radical black nationalist, and he's been caught. Joe Biden's latest poll numbers are a complete disaster. You can see that article on the front page of finishrace.com. Biden is, even according to now the left, they are throwing him under the bus collectively. I mean, big time. The Democrats that are in competitive races are trying to separate themselves from Biden because of the inflation numbers, which are out of control, which obviously is driven by food and transportation, fuel, heating for the homes. So you can check out the Joe's numbers are a complete disaster, and it has the Democrats very concerned about 22. A couple Democrats have been the mavericks in the way of Joe Biden. I have an article here. Senator Kyrsten Sinema, she frustrates liberals because she's out calling for a boost in U.S. oil drilling. The Democrats that have bought into the globalist agenda, following a plan called the Great Reset and trying to hit the objectives of the United Nations 2030 sustainability goals, cannot reopen America to being the number one exporter of energy. But the hypocrisy of it is this. China and India have more coal plants than the United States, and China is adding a plant like every couple of weeks. So while the United States government is trying to rush us towards zero emissions, which would destroy our economy, the two biggest polluters continue to march on and increase. It literally would be like if you're trying to have a clean neighborhood and you are picking up all the trash around your house and the two homes next to you are pouring trash out of their windows on a regular basis. And then you keep getting screamed at for having a dirty neighborhood. You're like, but look at those guys. Hey, no. You are you. You are the special house. You're the world leader. But in reality, what it is that they know that if they can deconstruct the United States down to a colluded, overrun, 50 million illegal aliens running around with no law and order, then there will be no continuity in the culture, and then we will no longer be a superpower. Why is that important? It's really not as much as we would like it to be if you are someone that believes in good. The world is corrupt. The United States of America is not in a position with because of court rulings, a secular government that has done everything it can to remove God. And then we want to try to take Christian charity and push it through a secular government that is horrendous with organizations and waste. It doesn't work. But you'll find that article here on finishrace.com. Governor DeSantis came out. You know, the inflation numbers were released, 8.5%, but DeSantis said, you know what? Hey, the prices of goods are going up significantly more than 8.5%. Here is the real numbers. I've heard as high as 18%, 17%, because when you factor in food and gasoline and forced minimum wage increases and the supply and demand imbalance when it comes to real estate, things are up 20%, 25%, 50%. It's really, really high. So article and a video with DeSantis talking about the reality that it's much more than 8.5%. And the last one today, The California Democrats, I'm out here in California, are proposing a 32-hour work week. Now, another committee is moving forward with reparations. A 2-year committee on how do we pay reparations to Black Americans whose great-great-great-great-great-grandparents possibly were slaves. But they're moving forward with that because they eventually are going to pay people that had nothing to do with it, with the Civil War or slavery. But hey, it's just money, right? Just billions and trillions of dollars. Well, this new legislation is the Democrats are saying, people should not have to work 40 hours a week, out of 100 and whatever it is, 120, 160. They shouldn't have to work that much. So we're going to tell companies that have over 500 employees 168 hours. And so I thought 168 hours in a week, and they say you shouldn't have to work 40. So they're like, well, the companies that have over 500 employees are going to have to reduce their employees' 40-hour-a-week schedule to 32, but still pay them for 40. Huh? Yeah. They're going to tell large companies, your employees right now, if you're paying them $50,000 a year for 40 hours a week, you're going to have to pay them $50,000 for 32 hours a week. And they think this is a good idea because people will be rested up more and they're going to come back to work and be more productive, and you'll actually get more production out of 32 hours of happy employees versus 40 hours of miserable, tired employees. This is that social engineering. This is what the Democrats do. They think they can tweak every aspect of our lives and fix them. They're going to fix every wrong through legislation. And really, the Democratic Party is saying no God except for government. God has been replaced in the Democratic Party by their little g God of government, because the government can fix all because they're so smart. They're so aware of what the wrongs are that they can fix the problems. But you have to say this about the left. They're winning. As a Christian, I do a podcast called Christian Talk where we're going through the Bible. So I am not worried about how this plays out with Christ coming back to reclaim the planet. Because right now this world is under the control of Lucifer. Yes, the devil and the demons are the ones that are controlling this planet until the last non-Jew, Gentile, comes to faith. And then we've got the tribulation going on, and we've got eventually Jesus reclaims the title deed of the earth, and then all evil, death, depression, sadness gets cast into eternal darkness. But as we're living here, we go to work, we go to the grocery store, we deal with people. So we want to be good citizens. We want to be amiable, but we want to understand what's going on, but not get carried away. What you're not going to hear me talk about on Finish the Race is Russia and Ukraine. This whole situation, I served in the Marine Corps during Desert Storm. The whole idea that the United States, as a secular government in a divided nation, is going to act like the moral guide of the world is really kind of lunacy. as a country, how do we operate? Because if you tell some people, let's pray for the Ukrainians, well, enough of your prayer and good wishes. We got to go bomb them. Well, wait a minute. You said you were against the Iraq war because you don't think that we should be doing nation building. That's true. Well, then, why do you want us to go to Russia and give them arms and enforce a no-flyover zone? Because the news said that that's how we're going to help those courageous people in Ukraine. Well, did you know Ukraine was rated the 5th most corrupt nation in the world before all this took place? You realize that Biden did a business deal where he got Hunter on a big natural gas company, and he got paid a lot of money for no reason. Burisma. And then Joe, when the prosecutor goes to actually investigate why the vice president was able to get his son and his business partner a lot of money from an oligarch-run, corrupt natural gas energy company in Ukraine, that Joe went and said, hey, guys, if you don't fire the prosecutor, we're not going to give you the billions of dollars in aid. That's Ukraine. Putin is a KGB murderer. What are we going to do? Because right now what Biden's doing, he's dropping in $800 million at a whack. He just said another one today. Another $800 million, $800 million, $800 million. Billion two. Just throwing money over there. And now people will say, well, that's not very Christian. What should we be doing? Supporting our government to go blow people up all over the place when our country's in collapse, when our country's lost its moral compass, when our country's $30 trillion in debt to ourselves, which is why the government's working on a proposal for going to a digital programmable currency, which then they could get rid of our physical currency, and then we would lose most of our value. And all of a sudden, we're on a digital currency controlled by the Fed, and they monitor every transaction and could turn your money off if you're not acting in accordance to their will. I believe, we must vote to deconstruct our federal government and bring everything back to the local cities and states. There's no way we can have a large federal government that's moral, because it's not moral. And I'm not even asking for it to be a theocracy or a Christian government. I am pushing for everything back local, and then the local people will do whatever the local people want. And then as we're sharing the gospel for us Christians, and we're helping people, then Christ will be lifted up and draw people unto himself. But this idea of everybody look over in Russia and Ukraine, while an estimated up to 6.54 million illegal aliens from 150 different nations are going to come across our border while we're looking over there. 6.7 million. Human trafficking. So children and women and men are getting sold for sex slavery, and then most of them to drug use and death. And we're staring over there. There's babies now around the nation that are a week away or a day away or an hour away from being born, and now they're getting pulled out most of the way out, and then they crush their skull and suck their brain out and pull the rest of the baby out. Why aren't we looking into that instead of looking at what's going on over in China? We allow people from other countries to buy our real estate, and then yet we want sanctions on their nation for stealing our intellectual property. So we're allowing hundreds of thousands of people to visit and attend our colleges from communist nations, specifically China. We're allowing Chinese nationals citizens from a communist nation to buy homes in the United States, to have children here that have citizenship, from Iran, from Afghanistan, from all over the world. So the only solution is you secure the border, you end immigration, you deport, everything's local, then you look at each other and go, okay, we don't like the crime in our neighborhood, let's fix it. But if you got millions of people flowing in and you don't know who they are and they keep going in these neighborhoods, you're going to have stabbings and shootings in New York City and Los Angeles and around the country. Because there's a constant flow of people you don't know who they are. And so it's not Christian to allow people in your neighborhood, in your home, around your family that are doing harm. Even if it's only 1% of the people coming in. Is it just for the people that are in the country when they get murdered, raped, or robbed? Where's the justice for them? Well, that's just the price we pay, by living in a free country. Well, no, that's a decision we make as the people, right? Not some philosophy. So the goal is to get everything local, to encourage the individual to live life, maximize your skills, make a difference, give more than you receive. And if we all did that, then it would be a really nice place to live again. The way it's going now, hundreds of people from the January 6th protest are still locked up without any legal counsel. We've got people pouring in. We've got national debt up to kazoo. We've got this pressure to try to somehow reinstate COVID rules. There's another article I'm going to be writing that the Biden administration is going to get rid of the Title 42. They want to end the public health provision that the Trump administration put in to be able to stop the spread of COVID, and say you can't come in the country because you want a better job. You're an economic refugee while COVID's going on. So they turned them away. Well, now the CDC says we're going to just we're going to get rid of Title 42. But yet they're renewing and maintaining the mask mandates on airplanes. So is it people coming across the border now are no longer a risk with COVID, but if you fly in an airplane, you are a risk? The hypocrisy is glaring, and I'm going to write about that also on finishtherace.com. So I do want to thank you for listening. This is more of an introduction and an overview of the podcast and of the articles, but the long-term goal is to encourage you to make sure you're aware. I mean, I don't know if you knew about the digital programmable currency they're working on. I don't know if you know there's a new credit rating score called an ESG score that the financial institutions are already living by. Environmental, social justice, governance, which when you tie that with the digital currency, that means if you're not a Green New Deal person, if you're not supporting companies that have a globalist government, if that corporation's not running in a way that's part of the collective, then they're considered a risk, so their ESG score will go down. Those are the kinds of things we need to be focusing on so we can live free and we can live in a way that makes much of Christ, understanding that God is the one that saves. We would like to live peaceably with all men in our families and our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren could grow up in a nation like we did. And that is what Finish the Race is all about. My other sponsor, No Brainer number 2. If you're having trouble sleeping at night, if you have a sore neck every morning, if your shoulder goes numb, if your towels look ratty, if your sheets feel like you're sleeping on sandpaper, you need to get over to MyPillow. Mike Lindell and his awesome team of 2,500 employees up in Minnesota put out over 150 awesome products. I love them all. I've got the sheets, the mattress topper, the pillows. They've got slippers, the robes, everything. So check them out. You want to go to MyPillow, but I did a .vip, which is going to forward to my page, so you don't have to think about it. MyPillow.vip for being a very important person. And the promo code is FLS, just like GetPureTalk.com. Remember, GetPureTalk.com, save up to $100 a year on your cell phone for you and your family. Promo code FLS will get you 50% off your first month. MyPillow.com or MyPillow.vip with the promo code of FLS will get you up to 66% off on a lot of things, even higher on some of his closeout sales. So check them out, MyPillow.vip, promo code FLS. Or, hey, if you just know you just want a pillow, and they're normally $69 for $19, you can call also 1-800-864-0148, 1-800-864-0148, promo code FLS. Tell them what you want. They'll take your order over the phone. 60-day money-back guarantee. You cannot go wrong with MyPillow. Okay, guys, I appreciate you for listening in. If you want to get a hold of me, email me at eric@finishtherace.com. Please check out my articles, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Finish the Race. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
My friends and I love it.
It's drastically changed my life.
For more information and updates, please visit finishtherace.com. To get in touch with others in our community, please visit magabook.com. We thank you once again for tuning in. Have a blessed day.
We all love smartphones. Isn't it time for a smart plan? Pure Talk USA offers Simply Smarter Wireless that covers 99% of Americans. Stop overpaying for wireless. Unlimited plans start as low as $20 per month and include the same great coverage. You never pay for any data overage fees, and Pure Talk USA never turns off your data. No contracts, no hidden fees, no surprises. If you're thinking our absurdly low cost means less coverage, think again. Pure Talk USA operates on the largest GSM network in the U.S. to ensure you're connected virtually anytime, anywhere. And our 4G LTE
Now
network
5G
provides the fastest internet speeds like more expensive carriers. You can keep your same phone and your same phone number. Add multiple lines to save 20% off your total bill. Go to puretalkusa.com and do something smart today. Unlimited talk and text plans start at $20 per month. No contracts, no activation fees, no reasons not to try. Come to puretalkusa.com and see how much you can save. Enter this promo code to receive
FLS,
50% off your first month.
FLS. Get special pricing at getpuretalk.com, promo code FLS.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
Go to mypillow.vip, mypillow.vip, promo code FLS. Again, save up to 66%, mypillow.vip, promo code FLS.